I didn't get it at the time, but he said to me, he says, "Look, Bill, writing this book, even if it never gets published, will be one of the most powerful things you could ever do because it's going to get your head around a body of knowledge." And it was true. It really did. It gave me so much more confidence.
Hey everyone, it's Jen Foster here with the Elite Publishing Podcast. And today we're interviewing an author who is a speaker as well, a Hall of Fame speaker and a best-selling author of 8 books, and he's currently writing another book. So for over 30 years, he's helped financial advisors and entrepreneurs grow their business. And we're going to talk today about the hidden heist and how he wrote it and how he wrote the other 8 books that he has. Welcome, Bill.
Hey, great to be with you. Thank you, Jen.
Tell us a little bit, why did you first decide, I want to be an author, I'm going to write a book? Like, when did you first decide that and how did it come about?
Oh, gosh. Yes. I actually owned 2 book publishing companies. You didn't know this. They were cookbook publishing companies, cookbooks that I published. I published about 45 cookbooks in 8 years. And I sold both of those businesses. And so then I got in, a friend of mine said, "Yeah, you should be a professional speaker, writer, coach. You'd be good at that." And I go, "Okay, what's that?" So I learned about it. And so I was doing a lot of sales training, prospecting, marketing, and I knew I needed to write a book. I needed to codify my knowledge base and all that sort of stuff. And so my first book there was called Unlimited Referrals, and it was how to get more referral business. Now, this was at a time when self-publishing wasn't as big as it is now. But since I had published 45 books, I knew how to produce a book. Right now, there wasn't any Amazon back then, by the way, but I published the first book by myself. And I'll tell you something, and if somebody said this to me, and I didn't believe him, I didn't get it at the time, but he said to me, he says, "Look, Bill, writing this book, even if it never gets published, will be one of the most powerful things you could ever do because it's going to get your head around a body of knowledge." And it was true. It really did. It gave me so much more confidence. And then I built video-based training programs based on the curriculum from the book and all that sort of. Eventually, originally we did it with VHS tapes, and then it went to DVDs, and of course now it's online. So that's how I got.
Transformational, right? Writing a book is so transformational.
Oh, it is. And very few authors make a ton of money from book sales. Some do. But you make money by having the book, right? And most people listening to this understands that concept. And it's not just a glorified or fancy business card. It's more than that. It reveals a depth of knowledge. But I'll tell you what I used to do with that book to get speaking engagements. This was before video was so easy to produce and use. I did an audio recording of a speech, and I would send an audio recording, a cassette tape, and the book to folks that hired speakers. And invariably, I get back to them. They say, "Look, we haven't had a chance to read the book yet. Looks good, but we listened to the audio and your message is right for our folks. So let's talk about bringing you in." So it was like the book gave me the credibility and the depth of knowledge, even if they never read the book. But I've also done a lot of bulk sales over the years. So I have made money from selling the book.
Yeah. Let's go back to what you said about you were shipping the book to someone with a cassette tape, which I love that marketing model. So those of you who are listening right now and you want to get speaking engagements or you want to get people to use your services and hire you, sending a physical book to someone. And then nowadays you could put a chapter of your audiobook onto an audio file and have it on your website, or you could have it on YouTube, or you could do lots of different ways. But you could have a QR code with a piece of paper that goes inside the book, which is similar to sending a cassette tape, right? You can send the digital audio of one chapter of your book.
That's right.
Or just a little message. I know some people do that, but sending that physical copy is so important. So I love that you did that, Bill, because it's still relevant today. People try and do the digital, but having that physical thing show up in the mail where people don't get mail all the time really makes a difference.
And my formula was, and still is today, call, mail, call. Now it's a lot of email, because people don't pick up their phone anymore.
Yeah.
I will usually alert people. I'll say, sometimes I'll ask permission to send the book. Most of the time these days I say, "Hey, I'm sending you a copy. I'll follow up afterwards." And so a little call, mail, call.
Yeah, I love that.
I did it with you. I sent you the Hidden Heist. Yep. By the way, the Hidden Heist was a different book for me because it's a parable book. It's a story. I had a co-author on that book. I never had a co-author on other books. And that was interesting. I want to give one lesson to everybody that's listening here. and you may already impart this lesson to your followers, but just remember this: there is no such thing as writer's block. There is only thinker's block. So if you get stuck, take a walk, get on the phone with a friend, have them ask you a couple of questions. I go look at other articles. I research the topic. I just what has someone else written about that, and it triggers something for me. And now, of course, you got AI, which can help. You got to be careful about using too much AI.
That's for
By the way,
sure.
I just wrote a 5,000 word article for a client. Now, this is a long article. I'm not used to writing that stuff anymore, right?
Yeah.
And I never used AI in the entire process. I just let it flow from my brain, and I guarantee it's a better piece.
100%.
It's the old way still works, but AI can
Yes.
trigger your thinking.
Yeah. Brainstorming with it a little bit if you don't have a friend to call.
Can definitely
Yeah.
help.
That's a really good tip. I love that saying of there's no writer's block, there's just thinker's block. I love that
Yeah.
thing. So, well, tell us a little bit about your experience of publishing. Now, I know you own publishing companies, but some of your books you self-published, some of the books you had traditional publisher. Tell us about the differences between the two.
Yeah, so I've had 3 books published by McGraw-Hill, and so what happened with unlimited referrals, that got picked up by McGraw-Hill. I had enough track record to make them interested, and they put it out under the title Get More Referrals Now. They changed the title, and I had 2-book deal, so I gave them another book. The second book was really a compilation of all my blogs at the time. I was a little bit lazy, but it still got good reviews. But I gotta tell you something, it never sold as much as my other books. Because of the title. I made a mistake on the title. I got so enamored, and this happens, I got so enamored with what I wanted to call the book that I made sure McGraw-Hill accepted that title, and it was not the right title.
Yeah. What was the title?
Yeah, it was Don't Keep Me a Secret. And it's a phrase I use when I teach about saying things you can say to your clients. Hey, Bill, you did great. Great. Don't keep me a secret, right? It's a fun phrase. It's got its place. It's a tactic. It's not a book title.
It could have been the
Right?
first line of this book description, though,
Oh,
right?
it's all kinds of stuff, ways
Yeah.
I could use, and I still use it, but,
It's a great thing.
and then I did a 3rd book for them, which was Beyond Referrals. That was the next phase. And then it got to the place where with Amazon and Ingram Spark and all the different things, where I realized I don't need a publisher. Yeah, but here's something to understand. Generally speaking, publishers, the traditional publishers, they don't sell books. They don't market books. They package books. They give you an advance, and most authors never earn past their advance. And you get just a little percentage, 12%, 15% if you're lucky. The buyback price is also very high. It's very expensive to get copies of the book because the buyback price is high. And so for most people, traditional publishing is not the path to go. It does, unless they give you a huge advance, 100 grand, and they need to protect that advance. And then they're going to help you get PR, and then they're going to get you on the show, and then they're going to market you. But generally speaking, that's where someone would turn to someone like you, and look, you can do it all yourself, which I've done, and I know how to do it.
Yeah, you've done it before.
But a lot of people don't. I had a call with someone just yesterday, Jen, a friend of mine, writing a book, and I went through all the steps of self-publishing. And what we realized is I can help him a little, but it's not my business.
Yeah.
And so eventually he's going to hire someone like you, and I'm going to refer him to you.
Yeah.
To see if that makes sense, to take a lot off the plate and helps with it, just marshal it through the process to get it done and get it marketed. And most people get confused, and it's intimidating, and it's worth a little bit of money to get rid of that intimidation and confusion.
Even just the fact of the title, what you just talked about, you decided they wanted that title, but you didn't let McGraw-Hill help you to change it because you were like set on it. And I've run across authors like that before. But the truth is that having other people on your team and having a publishing crew help you to publish your book, you're going to have that keyword loaded best title because Amazon's a search engine. And so not everyone's typing in, don't keep me a secret, because they don't know that.
No one's typing in.
Typing in beyond, they're typing in referrals, how to get referrals, which beyond referrals would come up for them, right? So
Exactly.
that's what we have to remember. Even though we do like those sayings, and it is fun to do, but you can always put those things in the book description and in the first lines on the back of the book too.
Can I share with you real quick? I know we're short on time, but In my next book, my ninth book, I was trying to think of what I wanted to write, and I had a couple different directions in mind. And I was on the phone with an old coaching client of mine who's become a bit of a friend, and he asked me a question, and it clarified exactly what I was going to do. He said to me, he says, "I want the first line of the preface of your book or introduction to be, 'This is my last book.'
Yeah.
All right, Bill, now what would you write then?
Yes.
If it was your magnum opus, was your," and I go, "Okay, that's it. That's what I gotta write on. I've got all these other ideas. Yeah, they're interesting. Yeah, they're probably marketable. Yeah, maybe I'll live long enough to do them. Maybe I won't. But if I've got to get one out and I got to get it out now, that's the one." And so, write it. If this was your last book, what's burning for you? And is it marketable? Do people want the message? That's also an important thing too, unless you're just doing
Yeah.
it for the hell of it, which most people aren't. So anyway, just that was just something that was a big aha for me I wanted to share with your folks.
I love that. Yeah, because this probably will be your last book, and it could be. It might not be, but it could be. And so it's good to think about that, especially when you don't know what to write. We do a VIP day where we'll help people to write their book because a lot of times people have a couple different ideas of what they want to write, and they don't know how to hone it in on which book they should
Right.
write first.
Right. Yep. And so what's gonna happen for me, by the way, is the other books that I was thinking of, they will be subsets of this main book. So it's not like I'm not gonna hit on those topics. It's just not gonna be a book on that topic right now. It'll be a piece of the book. So I still get to talk about it and write about it, market that part, but it's not the whole book.
Yeah. What's one piece of advice you could leave an author who's finished writing their book, they're ready to publish? What would you tell them to do to make sure they do with their book?
Certainly partner with someone like you, or I'm not here to, I don't get paid to say good things about you guys, but yeah, find a partner, find someone who's gonna help you think through this. Please make sure you get great editing. Every writer needs an editor. I don't care how good a writer you think you are, people tell you are. There's different levels of editing, obviously. There's developmental editing, there's line editing, there's copy editing, but you gotta get a lot of editing done. Great book cover. You gotta have a great cover. And you can tell usually from the book's cover whether it was self-published or not, or looks like it
Yeah.
was self-published or not. So that
Never ever use Amazon's free book cover creator.
oh,
Never,
God, no. God,
ever.
no.
No,
And
no
I'll tell you
worries. Those are from
I
like 99. They look so bad.
and I'll tell you one more thing, the best editing I stumbled on this by accident, because one of my books is The Language of Referrals. Now, this is about scripts and word tracks. So I wanted the book, the audiobook, and the book itself to match. Usually, it doesn't really have to match because very few people are gonna do both. But in a lot of cases, people are listening to me say the words that I'm giving to them in the book. So here's what happened. So I actually recorded the audiobook before I had the final printed book come out. I'm telling you, I caught so much in reading the book into a microphone to get the audiobook done. It just made it a better book. And even if you're not gonna do the audio right away, just pretend you're doing the audio right away. Read it out loud, speak it out loud. You're gonna catch weird phrases. We should be writing conversationally anyway. It's
Yeah.
easier for people to read a book that's written conversationally, as long as it's not rambling and as long as there's good sentence structure still. So by speaking it out, you catch a lot. So that's a huge thing that I've discovered, and I've shared that with some colleagues, and they thank me for it.
I love that. So definitely getting a really good editor, having multiple eyes on the book, and then also
Yes.
reading your book before the print and ebook come out.
Re
Actually
yes.
recording the audio.
Out loud, not don't just don't just
Out loud.
read it out loud.
Record it. Yeah.
Yeah, and record it because the brain fills in spaces that you don't even realize. You won't see a typo. You won't see the brain fill stuff in when
Right.
you're just reading visually and you're not
Right.
actually speaking orally.
Yeah, that's why we always do a print proof, because you see things that you didn't see on the PDF when you're holding it in your hand
Yep.
before you actually release it to the world. Because you might find one little thing, even if it's a fro instead of a four or whatever, you'll see something. You think it was Keller Williams, his very first line of the One Thing book had a typo. And that was
Oh.
traditionally published. They all missed it. So I don't know how, but they all did it.
Oh, all my Hill books have a typo or two. I used to joke when I owned a publishing company that my middle name was Typo. We could have 10 people read it and still something and get through. It
It's like
happens.
weeks. They just keep popping up.
Yeah, don't freak out.
Well, thank
It's
you so
okay.
much, Bill, for being on the show today. Where can people go to get your books and find more information about you?
Sure. If you go to Amazon and look up Bill Cates, Cates, you'll see them all. I'm very proud of The Hidden Heist because it's a collaboration with a co-author. It's a story. There's a lot of characters. There's suspense. And anyone who reads that is going to come away with a better relationship with money. And .com, where you can learn a little more about that. And you can see how I market that. If you go to hiddenheist.com, you can see the video we've got, the audio we've got, and just get into the little flow of how we do it. It might be somewhat educational for folks.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Bill, for being on the show. Please get share this podcast and subscribe. We'd love for you to share this with someone who you know it would benefit. And we hope to see you next time on Elite Publishing Podcast.
If you want to write a book and become a best-selling author, you're in the right place. At Elite Online Publishing, we can help you create, publish, and market your book so that it becomes a #1 bestseller. We work with a limited number of authors to ensure that they receive the best possible service. So if you want to learn how to write and publish a book that will empower you to smartly grow your brand, business, and credibility, apply today. We look forward to working with you.